What is up? We are back, black in the building. Another day, another 10 cent. I hate this fucking weather. I can't stand Vegas' weather. Vegas got the most horrible weather. The internet is trash. I don't give a fuck what none of y'all say. Cox Cable is fucking horrible. There's always something. If the wind blow the wrong way, the shit start fucking up. And I'm over this fucking internet shit. Shout out to everybody's out there at the Court Plantation right now as we speak. Shout out to, I'm recording this shit too, so if this shit get to tripping, I'm gonna upload this shit too, so I ain't even tripping about that shit, man. Shout out to everybody out there, man. Man, everybody's at the Court Plantation right now. Man, much power, respect to you. Shout out to you, because it is not fun. Take a look to your left, to your right. Anybody that you see that's happy to be there, they on some sucker shit. Because that ain't nothing to be happy about. You should only be happy about getting paid to chill. And if you native black or foundational black American, you should be happy when you get reparations. Other than that, there's nothing to be happy about. That's why you got all these conglomerate corporations like Cox Communication having a stronghold on the internet that they can't even provide. Then they be lying, talking about, oh no, you getting all. But anyway, shout out to everybody that's handling business, doing what they need to do to survive. Shout out to everybody that is at the Court Plantation right now that's hating. I understand. I hate it right with you. Man, there's so much shit going on. So much shit to discuss. and I don't even know where to start. I'm just going to record this shit and then upload it later. We going to get into a lot of shit, man. We going to get into this brother named Marion Humphrey that got pulled over by a state trooper, a racist, a suspected white supremacist, Stephen, what was his last name? Look up his last name. Stephen Payton. That was his last name. He gets pulled over by Stephen Payton. Didn't know that he was an attorney at law, that he had a little bit of connections. And we're going to get into that. We're going to get into the Colorado shooting. I think it was some Muslim brother that was out there dumping in Colorado. Then we're going to still touch on the little Asian crime shit where they trying to make that a hate crime every time you say something wrong about them. But they can say all this bullshit about us all day long, all day strong. So we going to get into I ain't going to be on here long because I got a lot of shit to do, a lot of shit to handle. Shout out to everybody that's on their CMOS. Shout out to anybody that is reading and grasping the concept of knowledge. I don't like to show books that I haven't read, so I like to put that to the side. I only like to show books that I actually read. So shout out to everybody that's handling business. Shout out to all my finessing ass niggas too that don't do nothing but finesse all day and they tell you how hard they work. Oh man. I was having we was chopping it up real good. Just having a good conversation. So shout out to that nigga. Shout out to my boy Nick. Shout out to Nuke as well. I gotta text Nuke. We gotta get her back. Nuke is beyond a special guest. Nuke is an honorary guest on this motherfucker. So we gonna discuss a couple of things. We gonna discuss the topic at hand, the anti-black Justice League. You know, I just got done watching Justice League Part 2 that was long and horrible. It wasn't as great as everybody tried to make it to be. So I was watching that. That shit wasn't that great. And I would like to call the United States government, Incorporated, the law enforcement, FBI, CIA, NSA, all of them. That's the Justice League. Some shit that niggas will never be a part of. That's the justice, racism. That's what it is. We're going to discuss that today. There's a lot of things that we're going to get into and discuss. Like I said, if the feed is tripping or not working, I'm going to upload the video as well because I know how the live feed goes. And there ain't nothing I can do about that but record my shit and just upload it to YouTube. So, hey, niggas be like, about the internet, that's because the nigga ain't pay that shit. Nah, nigga, I paid that shit. And we also gonna get on the boot-licking Sambo, tell him about the gun line, coon-ass niggas. It's probably a nigga at the Court Plantation job right now. I can't stand a dry shit-ass nigga. Just go to work. Hey, boss, I seen Tyrone over there, kitchen. I seen him taking some extra napkins out of there, boss. Fuck out of here, niggas. Sambo-ass niggas. I can't stand them niggas, man. That shit is horrible, man. But I'll tell you this. It is all about you being on code with your brother and sister. And if you can't be on code with them, then... But anyway, we're going to get into it. And shout out to everybody out there that is on that corporate plantation, that's focused, that's reading, doing the research, and trying to gain a better perspective on racism, white supremacy. Because if you're not trying to establish a system of justice, then I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Pending Compensatory Counter-Racist Code by Neely Fuller Jr. And as I got that from him. Anytime a motherfucker be like, hey man, Warren, how you doing? I'm still learning. So we gonna get into it, man. Man. So much shit to talk about, discuss. Like I said, man, I always gotta get on college. Niggas be lying, man. And sometimes be having it where the internet work, stream it. I know eventually, I got this OBS shit, but I know eventually I'm gonna have to, Lord Jamar be using. I think he used Streamlabs or StreamYard or Streamlabs, but I'm gonna have to get one of them, man, because I'm getting over this OBS shit. This shit always be bullshit, man. It's always something. And then when the signal is working just great, the motherfucker, I had to keep getting on that. When me and Nick was doing the podcast on Saturday, the shit would play the music. You couldn't hear the music. And then I stopped it and started all over again. Then the stream it wasn't even a live stream. People were like, damn, what happened to the streams, man? So I know that I'm gonna have to do an investment. You gotta invest in yourself. So I get very irritated when it comes to shit like this. So I'm about paying to fix the problem and make it work correctly. And that's what you need to do. Invest in yourself. Sometimes it ain't good to just be nigga rigging shit and just keep nigga rigging it and nigga rigging it. And then eventually it'll work. And then if it don't work, you're doing something else. Sometimes just buy a whole new situation. So that's what I'm getting at, man. Because this shit is getting ridiculous. But anyway, we gonna get on it, man. I was looking on talking about this black student named Marion Humphrey. And this young brother got pulled over by Stephen Patton. Y'all can see the thumbnail. And I mean, dude had him in the back of the damn cop car. For this what they do. As they illegally searching your shit. And y'all motherfuckers want to be talking about the goddamn, what's law enforcement? Law enforcement ain't there for black folk. It's there to protect white folk. It's not there for black. A white person, a dominant society. What the fuck you doing with this nigga? They not your friend. And y'all niggas need to learn the law and understand that. Just shut the fuck up. You know, I do not give you permission to search my car. If they want to impound it. You got to fight them in court. Don't be getting all defensive and get your hands off of me and all this other stuff, because all it's going to do is get you in an early grave or get you paralyzed. And you don't want that. That's what they want. They want you to resist so they can act the fool the way they want to act the fool. That's real. They're never planning on changing that at all. So, you know what I'm saying? We're going to get that shit under control. And the only way we can get it under control is if we start understanding where we come from, know our history, read, research, do the necessary things that we need to do to survive, then you good. But when you sitting up there trying to be another racial group, you ain't another racial group. Stay in your lane. You can only focus on the lane that was given to you. You can't focus on what everybody else got going on, because that shit is just not going to work. There's a lot of shit that I think we as human beings need to understand, especially native black folk, especially foundational black Americans. You're not them. Stop letting them give you this history of you came over here as immigrants and built the country with them. No, nigga, you built the fucking country. Stop that shit. Because a lot of the times what ends up happening is we go with the narrative that they give us. A lot of the times. So we go with that narrative, right? And that narrative it's very disheartening. Why? Why do you mean it's disheartening? Because that's trickery. That's foolery. That's fuckery. To have you thinking that you came over here as an immigrant to help build the country. And oh my God, the white supremacists are very intelligent, because let me tell you how good the dominant society is. They'll separate native black folk from the Native Americans and reclassify and retitle them. There's a book called The Rising Tide of Color by, I forgot his last name. I think it's Stoddard, but I forgot the first name. It's on my bookshelf, and it talks about how they were classifying Asian people, black people. And I got to get that book. It's on my shelf. I read it about 3 or 4 years ago. Very, very good book. No, not 3. Very good book. And it talks about a lot of that shit. It kind of fucked me up, because I was like, damn, they was thinking about this shit way back in the day. So don't let them reclassify you as some other calls it, and stick with that. Don't let them separate. Oh, well, we stole the Native American land. No, y'all didn't. Because Americans was such a racial group that was about why they wrote. Stop. That was some reclassified remix. And it was like, well, here, y'all do this. And then every time you start talking about reparations, they start talking about some other shit. See, I gotta understand. The Justice League is the CIA, the FBI, the NSA, the DEA, the police department, you know, the military, all them motherfuckers, man. And what they do is they spoon feed it to the native black folk and make it seem like, oh, we're going to give you some like type of position of power so you can go out and we're going to pay you good money. And then, damn, as you get older, don't you feel like, damn, I've been doing all this shit for them and they don't even give a fuck about me. Just like the court plantation, same thing. They want you to go hard on all. Isn't it so funny how when you at the court plantation and you a native and you notice how they go extremely hard on black folk. You can see a black brother that outworks everybody, and then some, goes above and beyond to make sure the team is straight, but they still got to, it ain't good enough. He's too quiet. He jokes too much. He does this. He does that. And there's other racial groups that take stock and inventory of that, and they'll watch that shit and be like, that's some racial shit. Now, there's some racial groups that won't say shit because they want their shit. Now, I ain't mad at them. But there are some racial groups that's like, nah, that's bullshit. But it depends on the contents of their character and what they about. Before, I don't need nobody marching with me. We done did the marching and rewinding and repeating. What I need is for you to tell us what's being said when we're not in the room. What I need you to do is collect data and information to help out foundational black Americans. Game up black folk so they can know what the fuck is going on. Game us up. Tell us like, look, this is exactly what's going on. That's why I did that podcast on Saturday. That's what we going to be doing those podcasts. Because, you know, hearing it from my black guys, you be like, nigga, you just saying that because you just gun to me. In the court plantation, you wasn't successful at the court plantation. Then, but when you hear a white motherfucker say that shit to you, motherfucker be like, well, damn. I don't know, man. Yeah, man. It's very imperative that the native black folks hear that shit because they need to know what the fuck is going on, man. And you like, what you mean by that, Warren? Cuz, man, it's very imperative. Look at this law student. It was a law student. Gets pulled over by law enforcement. Motherfucker had him in the back. You know how they do. That happened to me before. And they just pull you over and have you sitting in the back seat of the car for like an hour to tear your car apart without probable cause or nothing. But y'all want to tell me that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is for the people, for black folk? Then why don't y'all start changing those fucking laws and policies where they can't just pull you over and all this bullshit and fuckery? Because that's what they pull you over. Reasonable suspicion. They got all these code words and shit. I got all that shit. That's in my sovereignty and all. Not sovereignty, but you know, about being free. Really being free. Because you don't say sovereignty, then they go after you for that shit too. We just got to know what the law is. Get a Black's Law Dictionary. Get a Black's Law Dictionary and see how they got those words broken down. Because a lot of times people don't understand that shit. Just like when you're at the court plantation, it's all the same shit. When you're at the court plantation, you better play the victim if you're a native black person. Don't go in there talking about, I tell them motherfuckers. No, you better question them. When they get to, you know what, Tyrone, man, we just feel like, yeah, you know, you're not the same person. Be like, well, what do you want me to do? What is it that I need to be doing to get this job done? Is it affecting my work? You know what I mean? You got to hit them with questions. Don't hit them with statements. As Neely Fuller Jr. says, always start a conversation off with a question. When they're like, well, you're not happy. Why would you say I'm not happy? Explain to me why you think that I'm not happy. Why do you think I'm sad? Always hit them with questions. Don't never answer questions with absolutes. Don't never speak in terms of like as if they're going to understand what's going on because they're going to use those words against you. So what you have to do is you have to read, research, understand where we come from and see, because I remember a person got to say, oh, well, you know, sometimes history is bad. The other racial group, they don't never want to talk about history when it comes to black folk. They don't never want to talk about, and when they do talk about history, they want to base certain parts of history and leave it, skip slavery, and then talk about, you know, they want to talk about 100 years ago type shit, not even 150 ago. They don't even want, like, why? Well, this is the reason why, because history and research, no other racial group was on this continent or on this country of the United States of America Incorporated. Nobody was cultivating the land and building the land from scratch, but black folk. That's why nobody likes times when they don't want to discuss this because